few weeks ago, I launched a new game for e-ink devices. It's a PDF-based game. It's a golf game. And enough people seemed to like it, and I sold a few copies, and a number of people were asking me how it works. So it has kind of a unique, I'm going to call it a game engine, even though that's tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, you can't do a whole lot with a PDF, but that's what I want to show you. So a quick tour of the actual game here on the left, which I'll provide a link below, by the way, if you want to go grab a copy. It's just a PDF, and right now it's just in the browser. And as you normally would, you can click through it because a PDF will preserve links depending on how it's built. And so I'm just clicking through these links. It goes to the next page. Pretty straightforward. Now, where it gets a little more interesting is the game mechanics. So this is a golf game, just like real golf. It's not really fun if it's the same exact hit every single time. There's variations in wind, there's variations in your stroke. You need a bit of randomness to it. So, as you can see, I'm not going to go through the whole game itself. You can watch the other video about that. But I'm going to take a swing and see what happens. I'm using kind of a board game metaphor with cards. So I'm going to take a hit from the fairway, and I'm just going to click on the fairway button up here. You'll notice I drew a card, and I got a 6, which is a pretty good hit. I'm going to go back to the page. I'm going to do the same thing and see what happens. I'm going to go up here to the fairway driver. I'm going to click again. And this time I got an 8. So that's essentially how the game does a bit of randomness and makes it feel a bit more like an interactive game, even though it's really not. And that's what I'm going to show you under the hood here, how it actually technically works. First, a quick tour of the generator that I used to make this. This is all a bunch of probably pretty ugly HTML and JavaScript, along with a fair amount of CSS. So I'm not going to go through all that, but I wanted to explain that I did this for one reason. That was mainly to get a PDF to render inside the web browser. I didn't want to draw a unique page for each of my PDFs or each of my holes. I wanted to, generate it dynamically. So as you can see, I have a few different courses here. I actually made 3 different versions of the game. So we have 3 different versions of the course. And these are just JavaScript files with a long list of 18 text strings. And so the actual design of the course is just generated from this text string here. I created another tool to kind of allow me to design those visually. It made it a little quicker to build it. But then the whole thing gets rendered into HTML, spit out as one big long document. As you can see here, if I scroll through it, it's just one long HTML page. And the kind of secret to the mechanics of it is how I created the links. So normally a link would just go to one page. But this case, you can click on something and it feels like it's random. And the trick there is with how I created the links. I'm going to just uncomment one line of CSS here. Save that. And you'll see something, all this red. Now, what I did is I turned on an outline for all the links in the PDF document. And as you can see, some of them are just one big link. So I can navigate between the holes. It's just one big link. Link to page 1, link to page 2. But I'm going to zoom in here. You'll begin to see what's going on with these thumbprints. I'm zooming way in. And as you can see, it's a whole bunch of individual links. And I'll just do a quick inspector here in the browser to make it a little easier to see here. And as I hover over each one of these links, you'll notice it's a different link. And here is the HTML for that. So you go. So here's the thumbprint, and you'll notice it's just link, link, link. Link, 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 link. Link, 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 link. So it's just about, I forget how many links. I think we have about 300 links per thumbprint. And I generated this through some random logic in my JavaScript code. So, half the shots are pretty normal shots. Maybe a third are going to give you a slight hook. Maybe one will be a whiff, Based on the random number, I can decide how good of the strokes will be on average versus how bad. That's where it gets the randomness. And I take advantage of 2 things here. One, the fact that you can cram a lot of small links into a small spot on the screen, and the fact that your thumb is a pretty inaccurate stylus. So no matter how hard you try, every time you try to push on that thumbprint when it's at regular size, you're probably going to be linking to a different page just by the nature of the size of your thumb. On the game board itself, there's also some random links. As you can see here, if you hit a tree, the way the game works is you need to also click on the tree and see what happens. In this case, I have fewer links. I have 9 links per space, and that's enough to make that random enough to make it interesting, but not burden the PDF file. Now, here's the drawback with having hundreds and hundreds of links. Each link is an HTML link, and that's a chunk of text in the page. And if I repeat that on every single page of the document, which I did, it adds a lot of megabytes to it. So there was a trade-off here. I decided I want to make the strokes very random, so I compacted a bunch of links into those. I made the on-field obstacles a little less random, just to save some space. But I wanted to give you a quick tour of that. I hope that made sense. I didn't go into super detail here. If you have more questions, please ask. If you found this useful and you find a use for it to make a game for yourself, please do and let me know what you come up with. This was shared on the subreddit for the Supernote, which is the e-ink device I happen to have. That seems like a great place to share stuff. Got a lot of feedback there. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you come up with. Thanks.